In this video, we are going to talk about string length and other basic string properties. One thing that we often want to know when it comes to strings are their lengths. You might think that we need to do some complex stuff to get to that value, like loop through all the characters, count them, and then display the value, but it is so much simpler than that. Let's create a string with a name of John, for example, and then just below that, I'll show you how to get the value. Name.length. That's it. You only need to call a length property on a string. For us to be able to see that, we can wrap it in a console log statement, save it, and if you can see correctly, we're getting 4 in our console here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You will be using the length property a lot. It is one of the most used and most useful string properties out there. Also, it is quite simple to learn, right? It is really intuitive. Another thing we might want to do often is get the element at a certain position of the string. We can do it really easily as well. This is how we would get the first letter of a string. So in here, we can remove this console log, and then in there, we're going to do name. So we're calling the name. And then using the square bracket syntax, we can access a certain position of the character. We can say 0. 0 is going to return the first letter, so you can see we get J in the console. Why 0 and not 1? Because strings, as well as arrays, are starting from 0. So this is the character of 0, 1, 2, and then 3. That's why to get the J, we simply call 0, which is the first letter in this string. And now we can store this in a variable. Let's do const first letter. And also, let's try to get the last letter. Const last letter is going to be equal to name. And now let's think about it. How would you get the last letter of the name? Well, you may say, I'm just going to calculate 0, 1, 2, 3, and then call the square brackets of 3. Let's save that. We're going to console log the first letter and also console log the last letter. Let's see if it works. We do get J, which is the first one, and then we get N, which is the last one. That works. But now I ask you, how would you get the last letter of, for example, a string, John is a good fella, just like that, and with a dot as well. How would you get the last one? Well, you would say, oh, I have to count. It's easy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. But you can see there's a problem. We can easily just pause between the letters, or nobody has time to really go through it and then calculate the number of letters. So we can use that property, name.length. So that's gonna be name.length. And then we have to decrement 1. Why are we decrementing 1? Because name.length is gonna return the number of characters. But remember, strings are starting the counting from 0. So because of that, we have to decrement by 1. And now if we do this, we get the last character. But now it's dynamic. We can enter a string with as many characters, and it's always going to give us the last one. We can get rid of this, and in the same fashion, we can also get any character you want. We can do name and then 2, which is going to give us 0, 1, 2, and so on. You can see we are just using the indexes or indices of actual characters to get them outside of the string. Great. In this video, we'll learn how to get a length of strings using length property, as well as how to get certain characters of a string. Now let's learn how we can change the case of the string.